This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
And welcome back. Springtime is here, which means several of you will be spending more time outdoors. Unfortunately, it also means terrible allergies. To make things more difficult, many allergy symptoms are similar to the common cold. So how do you tell if you're suffering from allergies or colds? We have Dr. Larry Ciesmeyer, the only certified allergist in Kirksville, here this morning to break it down for us. How are you doing?
I'm fine this morning, thank you.
So the main question is how can you tell the difference between allergy symptoms and cold symptoms?
Well, that's sometimes hard for patients to really tell the two apart. This season in particular has been pretty intense so far with the tree pollen has been really heavy. I sort of break it down into two categories. What are the symptoms that somebody has, first of all, and then secondly, what is the timing of the symptoms? So typically, when I see somebody that has a cold, a respiratory infection, they're going to have more congestion, drainage, maybe fever, sore throat, those kind of symptoms. It's going to start, over a period of time, and they're going to kind of progress, through various symptoms. Maybe starting out, like I said, with a sore throat, and then going on to having a runny nose or nasal congestion. Whereas the patient that has allergies, they can kind of predict each year they're going to have symptoms. So maybe every springtime somebody has allergies, or every fall. Or I would say the most common pattern I see is spring and fall. And I think in terms of symptoms, probably the thing that patients are going to notice the most with allergies is itching. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have itching eyes, itchy throat sometimes, itchy nose, and sneezing and runny nose. And the symptoms occur pretty quickly after exposure. So for example, if somebody goes outside and cuts the grass, they're going to have symptoms pretty quickly. Their eyes are going to itch. They're going to feel like they have sand in their eyes, and they're going to start, sneezing a lot. And then when they go in their house, they're going to continue with the symptoms. And again, that's going to generally subside after a number of hours. Whereas a cold's going to sort of continue with time.
Right. So what are some quick fixes that you recommend for people if they are experiencing, the itchy eyes or, the itchy throat? Like what kind of over-the-counter medications do you recommend for our viewers to get?
So for eyes, there's a whole host of things. Some of the things I usually don't recommend. Some of the eye drop products that are vasoconstrictors, and they if you use them consecutively for 2-3 days in a row, they can actually make your eyes worse.
Really?
So there are some over-the-counter antihistamine eye drops that can be effective. One is called Zatador. There are some other prescription ones that are also effective as well.
Do you, with those, like you see all the different allergy medications in the medication aisle, do you prefer one of the medications that cure or help with all of the symptoms, like the itchy throat, the coughing, the sneezing, the redness in the eyes, or do you want people to focus on if your eyes are itchy and then go ahead and get eye drops, or if
Sure. I would try to focus more on the symptoms. So if somebody has a lot of itching, runny nose, and sneezing, some kind of over-the-counter antihistamine, Zyrtec, Allegra, Claritin, some of those are going to usually help with most of the symptoms. If somebody has symptoms that are just very, very short seasonally, that'll be effective. If somebody has the spring, summer, and fall allergies, which springtime, tree pollen is the culprit for that. In the summertime, it's more grasses, and then the fall, when the kids go back to school, then it's more ragweed and weed pollen. So if somebody typically has the whole season covered, generally antihistamines are going to become less effective as the season progresses. So then you may want to seek some medical help there.
Okay. Yeah. And speaking of medical help, if somebody thinks they have allergies but aren't sure, go ahead and let our viewers know about the allergy testing that they could experience or have done at your office. Sure. If they kind of want to know, and kind of just talk about the procedure and how that happens.
Sure. Allergy testing for some people sounds scary, and some people have come in and the kids are sometimes really nervous, and sometimes adults have had a bad experience at another office, and really it should be left up to somebody who's a board certified allergist for that. That's just it's a procedure that requires extensive training to actually perform the procedure and then to properly read the results. But it's a painless procedure. I tell people that it may itch during the procedure. That some people say it'll tickle a little bit, but pain, it's very, very painless. sometimes test children down to 1 year of age if they're concerned of a food allergy, milk or eggs or whatever. And children at that age really don't know what's happening, and they don't squirm. They don't usually cry or anything. It's a painless procedure.
Now, what about the waiting time with results? Is it right away? Do you have to come back the next day? Do you have
20
to wait?
minutes.
20 minutes.
20
So you're
minutes.
staying there, you wait 20 minutes, you come back,
And
and,
the
you
answer
read
is right
off and
away.
let them
You
look
bet.
at that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. What we'll do is we'll post all of this on our website at heartlandconnection.com, as well as Dr. Larry Ciesmeyer's information if you have any questions for him, and we'll be right back.